I think I'm on Instagram Live. Give me a shout out if you see me on Instagram Live. And I think I'm also on Facebook Live. So let me see how we're going to do this. I swear one day I will figure this all out. Okay, this is all good now. I think we're good to go. I am on Facebook now. I'm on Instagram now. Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. So I'm totally getting confused. Welcome, Sergio. Ciao. I hope you're well. Welcome, Earth Angel. That reminds me of the Back to the Future song. Earth Angel, please. Will you be mine? All right, I'll never do that again. Krista, how's it going? I hope you're keeping well. Please let me know. Give me a shout out wherever you're tuning in from. I see Krista is on YouTube. Good to see you again. We have Sergio and Earth Angel tuning in on Instagram. We have Karen as well. Hi, Karen. Hope you're keeping well. We've got Jillian as well coming in. So we've got a bunch of folk coming in, and it's great to have you here. Today, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be talking about one of the most important things that I think a lot of people are looking to be able to do, which is learning to believe in yourself as you believe in gravity. And let me start by saying a big thank you to all of you who managed to make the masterclass yesterday. We did a masterclass. More than 100 people showed up from from 22 countries. Can you imagine? 22 countries across the globe. People were tuning in from. It was absolutely terrific, absolutely wonderful, and I feel very lucky to have the opportunity to share with so many of you in so many different places around the world. So to all of you who turned up yesterday, thank you a lot for spending that time with me. What we're going to be doing now is we're going to be looking at a number of the most important things that need to happen in order for us to be as effective as we can at believing in ourselves. And we're really going to talk about confidence and talk about some of the most important elements that will allow us to be able to get the kind of results that we want. Patricia, how's it going? Good to see you. I hope you're keeping well. Hello from Dublin. Hello from New York. I hope you're very, very well, Patricia. Maria is joining us from Instagram. Fantastic. Krista, can I get the Facebook group to go there via laptop? No problem. I'm alive now at the moment on Fitzpatrick International in Facebook, Krista. So all that said, let me get straight into it and let me talk about what we're here to talk about today, which is believing in yourself like you believe in gravity. And when I say that, what I really mean is most of the time, one of the big challenges that we have is not that we don't believe in ourselves at any time. It's that there's certain times where we stop believing in ourselves and we allow ourselves to invite the inner critic in, let's say, where we start to listen to it and we start to hear it. And therefore we develop what is known as imposter syndrome. And before you know, we find ourselves falling into this trap where we're constantly defeating ourselves and constantly looking for all the reasons why we're not as successful as we could be. And so what I want to do is walk you through a number of thoughts. This is going to be less sort of formulaic than some of the times that I talk through, and more sort of me exploring the concept of what it means to believe in yourself like you believe in gravity. My beliefs are something that I know serve me in some ways, and then other beliefs don't serve me. And we all have a combination of useful and non-useful beliefs. In order for us to be able to make the changes that we need to make moving forward, one of the most important things that we need to do is to learn to become more aware of which are the beliefs that are holding us back. Now, let's start with the question, what is a belief? And a belief is an idea we feel certain about. That word feel is the most important word in that sentence, feel, that we feel certain about. It's not knowledge. It's not definite facts. It's a belief that we have that we feel is certain. And the problem is a lot of times what happens is that whenever you have a belief, oftentimes it's an idea that you're confusing with a fact. You believe it's true, even though necessarily it might not be. The main reason you believe it's true is because of the feelings of certainty that you have attached to that particular concept, to that particular idea. So what we need to do is take a step back and look at, if a belief is an idea that we feel certain about, then believing in yourself really is how you feel about yourself in these different moments in time. And in order to understand this a bit better, I want to distinguish the difference between what I call core beliefs and emotional beliefs. And a core belief is a belief that no matter what happens, no matter how you feel, you still believe it. You still believe in gravity. It's a core belief. You still believe, let's say, that your family members love you, right? Certain family members that you know they love you. You're just convinced of it. That's a core belief. There's certain things, facts are examples as well, but there's certain things that you believe beyond shadow of a doubt. Nothing could convince you. It doesn't matter if you're super depressed. Doesn't matter if you're excited. Doesn't matter if you're angry or hurt or scared. You fundamentally believe it. And these are what we call core beliefs. But then we also have what we call emotional beliefs. And an emotional belief is a belief that we believe in when we're feeling a certain way. And this is based upon this concept known as affective realism. By the way, hi, Noella, watching from Ghana. Fantastic. Great to have you on all the way from Ghana. That's wonderful. Love to see that. But a affective realism is this notion whereby our reality is very much affected by what we're feeling. So your affect is the feeling that you're feeling, the physical experience that you're having of your feelings. And the affect can usually be categorized in terms of positive versus negative valence, what's known as. Does it feel good? Does it feel bad? And then also, how high in arousal is it? Is it like very energetic? Is it lots of energy in this feeling? Or is it quite low key and low arousal, as it's called? And we experience affect and then we interpret them as specific kinds of emotions based on concepts and a whole, way that we do that. But when we talk about affective realism, we're really talking about how the way we feel can actually change the experience that we have of reality. So if you've ever noticed yourself, for example, hangry, right? Let me know in the comments if you get hangry. That means angry when you're hungry. Or tangry. That means angry when you're tired, you didn't get enough sleep. Or tanktious. That means anxious whenever you're tired and you haven't slept enough. Those are examples of how our feelings can affect the mood that we're in, which can in turn affect how we perceive people. So someone comes in and we have a little bit of an argument with them. If we're feeling great, that argument takes on a different experience than if we don't feel good or if we feel specifically angry at that moment in time. So what's imperative is that we need to be able to learn to notice the way in which we feel and recognize the power of emotion in cultivating these kind of beliefs. And the reason this matters is because our emotional beliefs are exactly the things which will stop us from believing in ourselves. Because in one situation, you feel great because you got nice compliments, things have gone really well for you, you feel on fire, and all of a sudden you believe in yourself. But the problem is, it's an emotional belief, it's not a core belief. Therefore, when your emotions change, all of a sudden, so does your belief in yourself, because the emotional belief itself in believing in you changes as a direct result of how you feel. So what's critical is we need to learn, how do we change the way in which we feel? And most importantly, how do we take these beliefs that we want to have and how do we turn them into core beliefs? And that's what I want to share with you today. In a nutshell, most of the beliefs that we've built or established are built through the stories we tell ourselves and the stories we're told by other people. And so we tell ourselves stories, we leverage evidence or facts or information, and very carefully, like a prosecutor, we figure out how to use that evidence to be able to prove our case to ourselves. And we do that in the form of stories. So we tell ourselves a story of the kind of person that we are. And one of the fundamental mistakes that we make where our belief in ourselves becomes emotional is that we talk about what we can do. And what we can do is based on our ability. And our ability is based upon what's possible in the now. And unfortunately, whenever we look at the now, there's lots of things that we might not be capable of doing currently because we don't have the requisite skills. We aren't good enough at the moment to be able to do it. And on the one hand, if you turn around and say, I am good enough, well, that doesn't necessarily mean that you will be. But on the other hand, if you say, I'm not good enough, sometimes when people say, I'm not good enough, it takes on this permanence that shouldn't be associated with the actual phrasing itself. When you say, I'm not good enough, we should always be adding the word now or right now to it or yet to it. But the problem is we often don't do that. So if you are to be able to cultivate, as Rob said, the power of yet, absolutely, Rob. So when you say the word yet, for example, it provides you with the opportunity to realize there will be a time in the future. And so if you're saying, can I do this? I want you to consider an option of changing the word can to could, because could more focuses on potential, whereas can more focuses on ability. And the reality is, if we want to believe in ourselves like we believe in gravity, one of the things that you can do is start to believe in every fiber of your soul in your potential, as opposed to in your current ability. Because the reality is, depending on how you feel as well, you might have times where you can do it, but you're not showing that you can do it. Whereas when you think about your potential, all of a sudden, your potential is a lot more limitless than how you might feel about yourself in the current moment. So the first way to be able to believe in ourselves like we believe in gravity is to believe in your potential and to start to think in terms of what you're capable of in the future. And that means asking questions like, could I? Which is really about what is the potential that you have. Because in reality, you can't really argue with your potential because you don't know, and there's no way to know what your potential is. A lot of times when years ago, when I studied, I did a couple of summers in acting school, and I talked to some of the actors there. And one of the things they would say is, I don't know if I have what it takes to be an actor. And the truth of the matter is, nobody does. Because there's lots of examples of people that don't have great acting instincts that have become successful as actors. And then there's other cases of people that are naturally brilliant actors, but lose interest in it after a while. So at that moment, when you're in acting school, that's the last time that you'll know whether or not you have what it takes. Really, to have what it takes is a mixture of a combination of factors, which includes hard work ethic, being very passionate about it, being resilient in the face of rejection, not to mention getting luck and meeting the right connections. There's a whole host of reasons why you're successful. So it's the potentiality is not something we can be sure of that we don't have. So what we need to do is believe in our potential ability to do something as opposed to getting lost in this, can I do it right now? And it doesn't mean that we deny and pretend that we're amazing at everything, but it means that when you change the direction of your belief from believing in the ability you currently have today towards the potentiality that you will have moving forward, it's much easier to see evidence of all the things that in the past you weren't good at, and then you suddenly became better at as a result of this. So potentiality is one of the most important elements that we need to start to look at. And that means we start to see ourselves not just as the person we currently are, but the potential person we can be. And we start to believe in that self, recognizing that if we put in the effort, again, with the growth mindset, if we bring the growth mindset into this by Professor Carol Dweck, this notion that we can improve our ability, we can improve our intelligence if we put in the effort. But it's this notion that as you look ahead to yourself in the future, you realize you have the potential to do anything you put your mind to. And so when you start to see this, it becomes more of what we call a anti-fragile belief, because it's a belief that can't be broken. It's a belief that can't be quietened. It's a belief that allows you to be able to have the adversity, make the mistakes, and feel from time to time like you've got absolutely no hope. And yet this belief keeps you going because it's a belief in your potential. So what I'd invite you to do is to consider that if you find yourself sometimes not believing in yourself, going, have I got what it takes? Or I'm not sure I can do this, or I'll be found out at any moment. To be able at that moment to recognize it's not about believing in the person that you are today. It's about believing in the potential person that you can be tomorrow. And recognizing the person you are today is the same as the potential person tomorrow, because the person you are today is the result of the potential person that you could have been yesterday. And we're constantly growing, we're constantly improving, we're constantly getting better. So to believe in yourself like you believe in gravity, so much of that comes down to you making a decision inside that you will no longer evaluate yourself based upon what happens in the moment or based upon how you feel. That you will start to craft deep inside of you this conviction that says, I know that I'm capable of overcoming whatever adversity I face, whatever comes my way, whatever challenges I start to find myself having to deal with. I know I can get through them. I know I can overcome them. And when you recognize that you have the potential to overcome those challenges, to get through that adversity, to bounce back from any situation better and stronger and smarter as a result of it, when you start to see that as being the reality, that's when everything transforms. That's when you start to open up to more possibilities, to more opportunities in your future. And so again, I'd ask you to consider how you can start to change from can we or can I to could I, changing from the current ability to the potential. Because once again, you can always have the inner critic can challenge the current you all the time. It can point out every reason why you're wrong, every reason why you're a fake, every reason why you're a fraud. And let's talk about the fraud thing for a moment. This, um, imposter phenomenon, as it was originally called, and imposter syndrome as it's known. It's this notion that any moment now I'm going to be found out and I'm not good enough. Well, maybe you're not good enough today, but then you have to ask the question, what do you mean good enough? Good enough for what? You're good enough for them, otherwise they would have already found you out. So it's not good enough for you. When you start thinking that you're good enough, not good enough compared to, let's say, some, objective standard, well, you're never ever going to find your way through to where you need to be. But if on the flip side, you realize that that's just an arbitrary standard you're giving yourself at this moment in time to help you to challenge yourself, then invariably what happens is you start to realize that actually what's really true is that you are exactly as good as you need to be for the current place that you're in right now. And if you don't feel good enough, that feeling should be the very thing that motivates and drives you towards becoming even better, becoming more successful, learning, growing, deepening your skills. So the only thing that imposter syndrome needs to be for you is a motivation. And if it feels bad, fine. That bad feeling can be transmuted into a feeling of pain that drives you forward, that motivates you to be able to learn what you need to learn. But the problem with the difference between people who suffer from imposter syndrome and succeed and those who don't is simply the people that don't allow themselves to bask in the imposter syndrome and start to think to themselves, the imposter syndrome is correct. And they start to go into this, of course I'm this, and they feel bad about what it's saying. Whereas other people, the people that tend to be successful, are the ones that go, I feel like a fraud. I feel like I'm not good enough. So I need to get good enough. And therefore, they're driven to motivate and motivated to do everything they can be to be at the very best that is possible for them. In other words, they're moving towards their potential as fast as they can. And bring it back to stories. When you start telling yourself a story of how you can start to become everything that you want to be, that story is something that really can't be challenged, because no inner critic can tell you what you can or can't do, because no inner critic can predict the future. And all it can do is comment about the present. All it can do is comment about what you're feeling, but it can't predict the future. And so when you decide to believe in yourself and your potential in the future, what you're doing is you're believing in and you're betting on yourself, which is exactly what we're doing anyway. Nobody knows for sure that they're going to be capable of doing the great things that they've done. They just bet on themselves. They say, you know what? I believe I can do it. I'm going to give it 100%, and we'll see where the chips fall. And that's what we need to learn to do. Because if you're to believe in yourself like you believe in gravity, it needs to be a core belief. It needs to be this anti-fragile belief. And the way to make that happen is to believe in your potential, as opposed to believing in where you currently are, which is very easy for an inner critic to start to challenge and build a lot of uncertainty for you in. So I really hope this was helpful. I hope that, again, if we're bringing it back together, the most important thing to recognize is that the reason we don't currently believe in ourselves all the time is because our belief in ourselves is an emotional belief. And when we feel good, we believe in ourselves. When we feel bad, we don't. And the way to make that more of a core belief, to make it more of what I call an anti-fragile belief, which means a belief that cannot be destroyed by things going wrong, is to believe in your potential and to tell yourself a story where you do deal with mistake after mistake and failure after failure, but it's all feedback and information that allows you to empower yourself to be better, to be more successful. And when you feel imposter syndrome, that's simply a driving motivation to be better, to learn more, to be more skilled. And when you start to think through this, it's transformational, because it allows you to start to believe in yourself with such a conviction that come what may, you're able to deal with anything and everything more effectively. So that's all from me to let you know. Again, thank you to the hundreds of people that registered and the more than 100 people that came to the webinar yesterday, the masterclass yesterday. Really, really great to have you on. And I really appreciate all the very lovely comments that you left for me. For those of you who don't know, we have opened up Changing Minds monthly membership. The Changing Minds monthly membership is my only membership that I have for personal and professional development. It is open now and up until next Monday evening. You can get in at a significantly reduced rate. So it's all the information is at owenfitzpatrick.com/monthly. That's owenfitzpatrick.com/monthly. And you will see all of the information there available, which will, I suppose, help you to understand what's in store. There's also and if you can't get it on fitzpatrick.com/monthly, it's changingminds.com/monthly. That's another way to get to it. And then changingminds.com/store is where you'll find things like sleep school, confidence school, communication school. Again, they're almost half price for this week. So come Monday evening next, it'll be going back to the normal price. So if you want to get a look at the kinds of products that we have, just opened the Changing Minds store. It's at changingminds.com/store. So that is the store as well there. So sleep school, confidence school, habit school, discipline school, motivation school. We got 15 or 16 different courses in there, which you can get if you want to be able to do it. 2 or 3 hour training, 6 or 7 different modules to be able to improve in one of those areas. So thanks, Maria. Maria recommends being a member. Maria is one of our wonderful members. But a big thank you to all of you. And thank you very much. Angela says the schools are superb. Thank you. Kunst says, when is the next session in here live? I'm not sure yet, but we will announce it definitely plenty in advance. But once again, check out if you like to see more. Definitely check out the changingminds.com/monthly or changingminds.com/store as well. Let me see any other comments. Hey, Cindy, how's it going? Angela, hello. And again, thank you for tuning in. Noella from Ghana. Mehdi says, hello, Patrick. You mean Owen, I'm sure. Long time. Thank you for all. You're very welcome. Dankeschön. Yes, says Kunst to Krista. Fantastic. Listen, thank you very much, everyone. Hope to see you. changingminds.com/monthly or changingminds.com/store. Check it out and look forward to seeing you soon. Oh, and I have a newsletter as well. Go to owenfitzpatrick.com/newsletter if you want to hear from me on a weekly basis. The next article that I've written, it's about a 15-minute read, so it's long form. I'm warning you now, but it's the most important thing that I've ever written. That's out on Tuesday. You can sign up at owenfitzpatrick.com/newsletter, and it's free. Thanks very much, Sean. Take it easy. Thanks, everyone. Be well. May the force be with you all, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.